Yo, 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 it's D.Arthur in the building, speaking to you guys today about semen retention, female attraction. You will be tested. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you click on the link in the description down below and enroll in the high value blueprint. This is an intensive 8 to 16 week one-on-one coaching program that transforms you from lack of motivation, complacency, lack of purpose to a man who is more motivated, fulfilled, and ready to take on his purpose and transform his life. With that being said, I am already working with a few people currently. So make sure you click on that and enroll in this course. Now, semen retention, female attraction, you will be tested. The bottom line is when you decide to go on semen retention, you will be tested. Now, the bottom line is there's going to be temptation everywhere. But what I am trying to get at before anybody says anything, what I am trying to get at is with the person that you're doing it with, are you in a more of a legitimate, legitimate relationship with the person that you're deciding to ejaculate with, or is it just solely based more of lust? Because usually, relationships that just straight up is kind of more based off lust, it may not go anywhere as much. It just doesn't go anywhere as much. There has to be some sort of genuine connection between you two. So you are going to be tested by a lot of women and even there's going to be a lot of tests in general, especially maybe on social media or something like that. And it just may not sit well with you because you're either going to be a slave to your desires or a slave to your purpose. Which one is it? Your desires or your purpose? You have to realize that not everyone is worth it, but you have to do it with someone you guys have a legit connection with. This is all I am saying. Most guys put their validation based off how many girls they can get with, how many girls they can sleep with. This is how they base their SMV. How much can they get with? Who can they get with? How much can they get with? And if you're living like this, you're more so gonna live more of a. You're never gonna be really satisfied because there's in your mind there's never enough. There's no everlasting spirit. This is just to feed the ego. If you're feeding the ego 24/7, you're doing things to feed your ego. You'll never really be happy. Because you always think that there's just never enough. You're always competing with things. You're always competing with someone. You think that everything is a zero-sum game, meaning you have to take from somebody else in order to get something, and this is just not the case. That means you do not believe in abundance. Abundance is for all for all. You have to realize this. You will be tested on semen retention, and it is in your best interest to pass the test and only, do not fall into the lust, because what's on the other side of you having S3X with her? There's nothing on the other side, especially if it's just a relationship based off lust. If it's just, trying to prove to your ego that you can get it. If that's the case, then you're probably not going to be satisfied as much after. You have to realize this. There has to be a better purpose. There has to be more of a bigger reason why you're doing this. There has to be a genuine connection between the woman that you want, the woman that you actually want. This is who you should be, ejaculating with. This is how it is. But if it's mostly just to feed your ego, you will never be satisfied. What good is a man to live for the world, but ignore his soul? If you are not doing things that uplift your soul, you're never going to be satisfied. This is why people. They're always comparing. It's a fleshly game for them. Who can sleep with the most women? Who can have the most material things? It's a material game for them. It's a fleshly world for them. It's a worldly life for them. And the people who are usually like this, usually deep down, are just never satisfied. They're hating themselves. They don't, because they're abandoning their spirit. They're abandoning their soul. They're ignoring their soul. If you ignore your soul, because you are a soul living in a human body, then usually you are just going to never be that fully satisfied. You have to live for the kingdom of the Most High. You have to do things for the kingdom. The kingdom will fill your spirit up. Once your spirit is filled up, you don't need to do as much. Sure, you can still do stuff, but it's more in an inspiration. You're taking inspired action instead of taking action because you're living in lack. You just have to realize that there can be a lot of material things around you. You can be earning the money. You can be having all these material things, but you can still feel empty inside. You can still feel like you're lacking inside. And if you're lacking inside, go ahead. You're going to do all these things. You're going to burn yourself out. And because you're living through the ego, you're not living through the spirit. You can gain material things through the spirit. You can do the things through the spirit. And this is how you actually be filled. This is why you don't need, someone else on the internet to tell you right from wrong, to try to influence you, because they're all around. They're all around waiting like a thief in the night to point you in the direction that you think that you need to do more and satisfy your ego instead of doing more to satisfy the spirit. Now realize that I said that you need to do more to satisfy the spirit, not the ego. I'm not saying to sit on your butt and say, "Oh, I'm satisfying my spirit by not going for the worldly things." That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can do as much as you want, as much as you need to, but do it because of you want to, your soul wants to, not because you're trying to beat somebody, or you think that if you don't do this, it's just going to, everything's going to falter. You have to realize this. You have to live for your spirit. You have to do the things internally that you are okay with doing. This is how you can be filled up. You will be tested on semen retention. There will be a lot of tests, and you have to pass the test. You only ejaculate with a woman that you have a legitimate connection with. Otherwise, you're trying to prove to other people that you can, get laid. This is what you're trying to prove to the next man. Realize how suspect this is. There's a lot of suspect things going on. You have to realize this. They're gonna sell you a bag of goods. They're gonna sell you lies. Because they think that they're gonna sell you. They're gonna sell you that you have to keep trying to prove other people wrong, and this is not the case. You yourself have to prove yourself right. You have to prove yourself right, and you have to not let any other people's opinion influence how you act. You have to be authentic and an individual. They want you to be a copycat. So you will be, especially on semen retention for a longer period of time. There's going to be lust left and right. People, women who are not in for your best interest are trying to, get something from you, either monetary wise or, lust wise. They're just trying to get something from you. You have to decipher which one's the right fit for you and which one isn't the right fit for you. This is the only way you can succeed and go far. You will be tested on retention. It's up to you to pass the test, because there will be tests. With that being said, enroll in the High Value Blueprint. Get your accountability coach and start proving to yourself that you are the person that you say you are. Like, comment, subscribe. We will see you in the next one.